Winning opportunities is a huge part of every sales business. Let's set up a super simple automatic email that will be sent to the winners of these opportunities or anybody that you necessarily would want to be notified every time an opportunity closes. And we can do this pretty easily using the Power Platform, or more specifically, Power Automate, as all of our systems are using Microsoft Dynamics Sales in this example, and all of this is lying on top of Dataverse. If you are wanting to know how you can automatically send an email when opportunities close in your system, you are in the right place, because we are going to cover a step-by-step guide on how to build this flow and everything you need to do to get this running in your system today. So here I am in Microsoft Dynamics, and this is an open opportunity that I have. It is, my big opportunity, as I've called it here, just as an example. And we want to go ahead and build out a flow so that when I select the closed as one and this opportunity continues through the sales process, we want any necessary parties to be notified. And in our example, we want to simply send a notification to the owner of that opportunity, so myself. Now, how can we do this? We can do this utilizing Power Automate, and I'm gonna go ahead and jump over to Power Automate, and I've actually already built out this flow, but I wanna walk you through step by step, action by action, how I've done it and how you can do it as well. So the first part of every flow is our trigger, and if I go ahead and open up our trigger here, we are looking at any opportunities that are modified, right? And so what that means is every time an opportunity record is updated in the system, this is going to trigger our flow. Now, if you're paying attention, we don't want every time an opportunity is modified to trigger our flow. We only want when an opportunity is closed as one to trigger our flow. And so in order to access that, you're gonna have to select the Show Advanced options. And what I have in here are some filtering and different things that are going to limit what will trigger our flow. So this way, it's only triggering when we want it to trigger. Now, what am I doing here? This state code field is the schema name of the status field. So the status is what stores if this opportunity is open, if it is closed, if it is won, if it is lost. And so the select columns here, we're saying, hey, only trigger this flow when the state code field is the field being modified. So if someone updates any other field on this opportunity and saves those changes, it will not trigger this flow. It's only going to trigger when the state code field is updated. Now, how the filtering rows section is different is the filtering rows is going to limit even more when this flow will trigger. And so in our example, if an opportunity's state code is updated to be closed as lost, we don't want this flow to be triggered. We are not interested in sending email notifications about lost opportunities. In this example, we are only trying to send emails on one opportunity. And so what we can do here is we can filter additionally when the state code equals something specific. We want to trigger when the state code equals 1. It's ironic that the number 1 is the same as the words 1, W-O-N, but the number 1 is the value for the 1 option, the W-O-N option. So now that we have our trigger defined, we can go ahead and move on to the next action, which is the Get a Row by ID action. Now the Get a Row by ID action is a super common one that you're gonna find yourself using a lot. And what this does is this goes and can look in the system for more information on a certain record, provided that you have the GUID or the ID for that record. And so in our example, we need to go get more information about the person we want to send this email to. So for example, on the opportunity record, at this point, before this Get a Row by ID, all we have is the information about the opportunity. Now, one of those fields is the owner, right? And we want to gather more information about that owner. And so on the opportunity, we have the owner's ID. And so now with the Get a Row by ID action, we're gonna go and find maybe this owner's first and last name, maybe this owner's email, maybe this owner's phone number, etc. There's additional options that you're gonna wanna configure, again, to continue to improve the efficiency of your flow. And this is going to be handled specifically through this select columns field. So how this works, if you do not touch the advanced options, is it's going to go and find every single field, every single bit of information about this user record. We, in our case, only really need the full name of the owner and the email so that we can then send them an email. And so in order to, again, improve the efficiency and reduce the runtime of our flow, we can limit what fields the flow needs to actually go and gather. And so that's what I have here, is separated just by a comma, no spaces. We want to get the full name and we want to get the internal email address of our owner record, which is on the users table. Then lastly, we have our email action, and I would recommend utilizing the send an email v2 Outlook action. And you can see here in the to field, we have the internal email address of the get a row by ID action. That is where we're getting the information to then send this email. In the subject, we have congrats on closing, and then the name of the opportunity, also known as the topic field. So this way, it's going to dynamically change to whatever opportunity it was closing. It won't be something generic. And then we're going to have, the body of the email. And obviously, you can personalize this however you would like. If you are wanting to be particularly granular in the details, I would highly recommend using the code view. This is going to allow you to design your email using HTML code. And there are a bunch of tools out there available, free tools that are available out there, where you can do this pretty simply, even without any coding experience. Now, if you notice at the bottom of my email here, I want to include a link to the one opportunity, as in a hyperlink. So in this email, I get a hyperlink. I can click on that link, and it will take me directly back into Dynamics and show me that closed opportunity. So this is the last piece that I wanted to do and actually show you guys how to do that. If you are not interested in including a link, then you do not have to worry about this and go ahead and skip to the next chapter. But if you are wanting to include a link, which I would highly, highly recommend, here is how you would do that. So let me go ahead and close these just to save screen space here. And I'm gonna go ahead and open up a new action. And just for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and just create a compose action. It has this kind of purple with the bars and the kind of the code looking symbol there. And this is a simple action. Really all this is, think of it like a text box. You could put something in and then refer back to it later. And so what we want in here is to put the hyperlink of this future opportunity. So how do we get the hyperlink for this specific opportunity? Well, let me go ahead and show you. How I do it is I actually navigate to the record itself in Microsoft Dynamics, and you can see that we have our link in the top bar, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and copy this into our compose action, right? So this is the full hyperlink that we want. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the outputs of our compose into our email. Now, something that you cannot do is this is not ready at this point in time, because all this is saying is essentially every email you send at this point in time is going to show a link back to this record. And we don't want it to always be this record. We want it to be the record that closes. Now, let me just briefly break down the hyperlinks and how they work in Microsoft Dynamics. Let me start off with at the end of the hyperlink. So you can see here, if I highlight this, it says the opportunity ID equals, and then has, again, what's called a GUID, or the ID. This is the part of the hyperlink that says what record you are wanting to look at. And so fortunately for us, the trigger action, because that action was on the update of an opportunity, already stores the GUID of that opportunity. And so if I highlight this, everything after this equal sign, and delete it, I can actually go over here into the search, and I'm gonna just go ahead and search opportunity. You can see here that when a row is added, modified, or deleted, these are all of the available data points underneath our trigger action. We have the ID, the unique identifier of the opportunity. And if I hover over this, it's going to show the opportunity ID. So at this point, this will now show the hyperlink to the opportunity record, and it will dynamically change based on whichever record is changed. Now, I would highly, highly, highly recommend still making 2 big changes to the hyperlink, specifically regarding the environment of the hyperlink, the first part, the URL, so to speak, as well as the app ID, which is that first GUID that you see before the GUID for the opportunity. That just refers to the app you are in when looking at a record in Dataverse. And so in our example, that app ID would be for the Sales Hub, as we want to load the Sales Hub app, and then within the Sales Hub app, we want to look at this opportunity. But at this point in time, let's say that this is good. Let's say that this is perfect ALM practices or application lifecycle management practices. I am not saying it is. I would not recommend doing this. But if you are interested in learning more about environment variables, there are a ton of really good references out there, and I'm not covering them in this video. But nonetheless, at this point in time, our flow is good to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit save and test. And if I select manual, then it's going to flip it to a screen where I can actually go and test this. So I'm going to hop over back to Microsoft Dynamics, again, back to my opportunity. Let me go ahead and say, I had a conversation with this person, with this business, and they want to move forward. We are happy to close this opportunity as one for, say, $1 million today. If I go ahead and close this, it might take a couple seconds and it's loading, but you can see here that the form is telling me, the status has been won. It is now closed. I could reopen the opportunity if I wanted, but this is actually going to re-trigger our flow. If I hop over quickly, you can see that the flow is running and it is building out. It is triggering. It is getting additional information on me, the owner. It is building out our hyperlink, and it is then sending the email to my email. Let me go ahead and hop over to my email as well, just to prove to you what this looks like as the end user. And here I have, congrats on closing my big opportunity. The name, again, the subject or the topic of that opportunity. It's saying, here is the hyperlink with this information. If I go ahead and copy that into a new tab, you can see that it directly opens up the opportunity on the screen. Now, if you are wanting to make this a clickable hyperlink, which I'm sure you are, there is still one very small detail that you will need to add. Now, I have a template for adding a href in the description down below. So go ahead and go down there to copy that. You basically just need to add some HTML code to tell Outlook, hey, this should be a clickable hyperlink. Let's go ahead and do that now. So in our flow, this is the template that I have down in the description down below, and it is fairly simple, not a whole lot going on here. What we are looking to do is we need to add our link itself in between these two quotes where the hyperlink in the template is. If I go ahead and remove that, I could either combine these and just add this whole bit into here, or I could just continue to utilize the outputs of the first compose. And then this here is whatever text you want to display as the link itself. So let's say, for example, that we want the opportunity name to display, or again the subject to display while that is in our email. So the text that shows will also dynamically change, just like the subject of our email will. Now I need to go down here and make sure I'm using the new outputs of compose 2, as that has the hyperlink reference that we need. And if I go ahead and save and test this again utilizing our previous run, you can see that it has passed wonderfully. And if I hop over to my email, you can see here that I now have a clickable hyperlink. And if I click this, it will open in a new tab and take me directly back to the opportunity. This is essentially everything you need to know at a super high level on building a flow for when your business wants to close an opportunity record. If you are interested in learning more about the Power Platform, Power Automate, Microsoft Dynamics Sales, or anything else, generative AI for that matter, be sure to check out this video here or other videos on the channel. Thank you to you for sticking to the end of the video. My name is Griffin Lickfeld, the host of Citizen Developer, and I'm excited to connect with you guys in the next one.